All right, welcome back to another episode of Am I the Asshole? Featuring Logical Black Man. Big shout to Gangs Music as well as the Reddit subforum Am I the Asshole? So today's episode is Am I the asshole for calling my sister a bad, selfish person because she refused to look after my son for just a few hours? All right, let's get into it. So, my wife, he's 29, she's 27. My wife and I welcomed our first child into the world about 10 months ago. His paternal grandparents, my parents, live several states away, but he has two maternal aunts and uncles, their husbands, by marriage, as well as a set of maternal grandparents. He also has my sister, 26 female, as an aunt. My sister is a bit of a rebel who swears she'll never get married or have kids and who claims to not even like kids. I like the sister already. I mean, she knows what she wants. She doesn't, well, at least she knows what she doesn't want. She doesn't want to get married. Apparently doesn't want to have a life partner. Doesn't want kids. And is upfront. She doesn't like kids. That's her prerogative. All right, back to the story. When my son was born, though, I remember my sister coming to visit him in the hospital, which actually somewhat surprised me. But when she saw her nephew, she said, I don't like kids, but he's so cute that he's an exception. He's officially my favorite kid on the planet. Don't ever ask me to babysit, though. So those words, of course, will come back later on. Well, I never would have dreamed of asking her since he had two willing grandparents as well as two willing aunts. However, recently the perfect storm happened. My wife works in a jail and, as such, is considered an essential employee. In other words, they can order her into work if they're short, and she doesn't have the right to refuse no matter what is happening. It honestly doesn't come up very often at all, but when it does, it does. Meanwhile, I work as a kitchen manager / head chef at an event hall. I had a huge event that I absolutely couldn't miss on a day last week when it just so happened that my wife got ordered into work. Our contingency plan, just in case that sort of thing should happen to occur, was to have one of her sisters or her parents watch our son. However, they just so happened to all be out of town together that day, so I had no choice but to ask my sister to just watch her nephew for a few hours until one or both of us were able to get away from our jobs. But she refused. I begged and pleaded with her, but she just wouldn't do it, reminding us both that she had told us when she said she would never babysit and that our emergency wasn't her problem. Finally, my wife ended up having to tell her employer, well, I just can't come in. Do what you have to in terms of discipline, which ended up with her receiving a written reprimand. I ended up going off on my sister, telling her that she was selfish, amoral, etc. My sister said, I don't owe you or your wife anything just because we're related. But I told her that this was a horrible attitude and that she should have a better sense of loyalty to her family just because that's the right thing to do, whether she had ever agreed to anything or not. Am I the asshole? All right. So that's the deal. Basically, he had an emergency, didn't have anyone else to turn to, and his sister refused. So we have this long preamble, which is basically just a bunch of justifications as to why he should expect his sister to babysit. The bottom line is, yes, you're the asshole. Your sister said it right. She doesn't owe you anything. She doesn't like kids. She told you up front, don't ever ask me to babysit. It can't be any clearer than that. Okay? I've seen the shirts, the posters, whatever. Failure to plan on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part. And that's what this is. Hire a babysitter. Don't have kids. I mean, do what you got to do, but leave the sister out of it. So I feel like a lot of people feel entitled because, of whatever problem they're having. And so it becomes someone else's problem. And so I really applaud the sister for standing her ground. And she sounds like she is very independent and knows what she wants out of life, or at least what she doesn't want. So this guy is an asshole because he expects other people to bail him out of his situation that he and his wife created. They should have had a babysitter on standby or find a different job. All right, that's it. If you like the video, be sure to like the video and subscribe. Once again, big shout to Gangs Music and the Reddit subforum, Am I the Asshole? All right, I'm out.